Welcome to Brush and Banter, the podcast where creativity meets real-life hustle. Brought to you by Zibra, we go beyond perfect brushstrokes to explore the messy, magical, and meaningful side of being an artist.
I'm Brie Hansen, crafter at heart, creative cheerleader, and president of Zibra.
I'm Annie Bolding, muralist, designer, lover of all things that sparkle, and founder of It's a Disco Day Designs. And I'm Lauren Cooper, muralist, designer, creative mama, and founder of Rosemont Lane Design Studio.
We're here to bring you conversations with working artists,
practical tips to grow your creative business, and a built-in painting companion for your next project.
So grab your favorite Zebra brush,
pop in your headphones, and let the banter begin.
Welcome back to Brush and Banter. I am Brie. I'm here with my amazing co-host, Lauren. If you've caught episode 1, you know we're here to celebrate artistry in all forms. And today we're diving into something every creative will relate to, the seasons of life. Today, we are joined by the one and only Courtney Weisel from Steel Birch Studios.
Oh,
Hi. She is a creative force, a master of detail, and truly one of the most inspiring artists in the refinishing world. You might remember Courtney from her appearance back in season 5 of the podcast, where she wowed us with her story, her signature style, and her reflections on winning a Golden Brush Award. Since then, she's experienced some life shifts and taken time away from painting, and now is stepping back into the studio.
Courtney is the award-winning artist behind Steel Birch Studios, known for reimagining vintage pieces into sleek, sculptural, scroll-stopping works of art. Her finishes are elevated, her designs are timeless, and her creativity is absolutely unmatched. Whether she's playing with rich textures, clean lines, or bold stencils, her pieces always speak volumes, and so does she. In this episode, we're talking all about what it means to come back to the brush, back to your creative identity, and back to yourself after a season of pause. It's real, it's refreshing, and of course, there's plenty of laughter, wisdom, and a little spilled paint along the way. We are beyond thrilled to welcome Courtney back to Brush and Banter.
Wow, guys, what an introduction. Thank you so much.
Well, welcome back. We are so excited to have you.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here, and I'm very excited about the podcast and the direction you guys are going with it. And it's a lot of exciting things going on. So
that's awesome.
Happy to be here.
Thank you so much. For anyone new to the podcast, though, or haven't got to know you yet, do you mind doing a quick reintroduction of yourself, who you are, a little bit more about Steel Birch Studios, and just kind of the work that you're passionate about? Tell us.
So I started Steel Birch Studios in 2017. I had to think back how long, because it seems like it's been a long time. But so 2017, I started painting full time, and I focus on different textures and materials. I love bold colors. I love neutral colors. But I love redefining pieces with different mediums. And I don't know. I love mid-century transitional. I don't know. If I have a vision, I go for it. And I just, there's a lot of different styles I love, but the main thing is I love experimenting and making something come to life that I have a vision for.
We love all the different textures you always use. It is always so amazing to see what you work on next. I, for one, love seeing all the different pieces that you do. But I know, as you said, you've taken a little break for a couple months. So walk us through what kind of changed in your personal world since our last episode.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I'll say probably the main answer is children. But really, it's a very, very big shift in my personal life. But 6 months ago, the house we were living in, we were renting for over 7 years, and that was where my studio was as well. The landlord decided that she was selling the house, and we had 1 month to relocate.
Oh, wow. 1 month. Oh, gosh.
Yeah. And it was, a 4-bedroom house with my husband worked from and I worked from, and we had, daycares lined up there. And it was a very, very abrupt, sudden change. And it just kind of upended everything. And so luckily my husband is from Greenville, South Carolina, and we had family we could live with just while we found a place, even if we had millions of dollars, like there's a month isn't enough time
No,
to buy a
right.
house or, anything. So yeah, it's been a huge change, a very abrupt stop to my, my painting and just figuring out, just starting over kind of. And now we'll get more into it, I'm sure, but I'm able to look back and just see how it is a fresh start. And, at the time it was so jarring, just a crazy change and, staying home full time with the kids while I look for them to get into school. It's, I'm a stay at home mom now, and it's been like, wow, this is not what I envisioned. But yeah, I'm learning to really appreciate the change, and maybe it wasn't what I expected, but it's where I'm at. So
I know. I love that. That's awesome, though. You're realizing that so early on, I feel like, in this journey, because a lot of times when that happens, it is so jarring and it's so easy to like fall into this slump and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I
oh
going to
god,
do?
yeah.
But
Well, I've been there, so don't.
well, no,
I'm
but you're
totally there.
already you're
Yeah.
already on the up and up, it sounds like. So that's great.
Yeah, I mean it's taken. I mean, literally, it's just like when you shift the mindset, like just
Yeah,
I can't believe that these are the cards I'm handed, to like what am I going to do about it,
I know.
it's
Right.
huge.
Don't they always say the only thing constant in business or life is change?
Yeah, right.
True. So do you have your new studio set up in your place you're at now, or
I do not yet.
you do not
So we
yet? Okay.
yes. So I'm kind of making a plan right now of, what kind of pieces I'm going to start with.
Okay.
My son, I just got him into school. So that gives me nap time to be able to work at this moment. This is the quietest my house has ever been. She's with family, right? My daughter is with family right now.
Okay.
And so, right now it's kind of, shifting what my plan is going to look like, what my career is going to look like,
Right.
with the time I have, and just kind of like, I'm probably going to be able to do some things at the house, but not to the full scale of spraying until I get
Okay.
a space. Mm-hmm.
So what has helped you kind of, I know obviously it was a big shift for you, and you the move and getting settled in the house was obviously a big
Mm-hmm.
step that had to happen before you could get back into painting. But what kind of made you decide that you definitely want to go back to that and get back to that space, as opposed to just kind of waiting longer and getting things figured out? Why are you
Yeah.
so anxious to get back into it?
I mean, it's just kind of like in my blood. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, I miss being able to create, 9 to 5, basically what I was doing before. And it's just, I think that I can't really live without creating, and
Right.
in some form or another, even when I have one-on-one time with the kids and we're doing little art projects, like that's like a release for me, but it's just something that uh, I've put my heart into for the past several years, and I want to continue to. It's going to look a lot different, and I'm okay with that, for
Right.
the first time in a while. But it definitely was a struggle to like get to that place of being like, okay, it's not what I thought and it's not what I'm used to, but like, my creative energy and my vision doesn't have to, you know, dwindle just because of
Right.
change.
Right.
It just evolves. So
Exactly. Exactly.
mhm.
That's what I'm kind of curious about as well. I mean, when I was scrolling through and looking at your pieces, it seems like there's so much like technicality that goes
Mhm.
into them and like thought behind it. But when you're re entering this new phase, how are you approaching that? Like, are you inspired by a piece and you know exactly in your mind, like, what you want to do and how you want to do it? Or are you coming with this new, fresh sense of just like, wanting to kind of go in blind and let the piece speak to you in the moment. Like how is your mind right now?
Yeah.
Like what side is it? Because it looks so
Yeah.
technical from like my
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think with the limitations I have right now on my space and until I find my workspace and I have, absolute creative freedom with time and, I think I'm going to have to be selective and what pieces I bring in and, the techniques I use. So, and I literally was thinking through this past week, just like I am totally okay with creating anything, even on a small level, to continue my artistic flow, and to continue perfecting my craft, and yeah, I mean, I guess I'm viewing it like whatever. I'm sure I'm going to find a piece and like probably have a vision for. Here's the thing: I will do whatever crazy thing needs to happen somehow, wherever. Like it will happen. If I find a piece and I get a vision, it's just like I can't not finish until I have the vision in my hands, presenting it. And that's kind of how I've always been, which is, I mean, it's been it's been a crazy creative journey, but like I just have pushed myself to a limit of if I dream it, I really do want to create it. It might be a smaller scale at the moment, but like finding acceptance and however it unfolds when it happens, like I was just looking at pieces today on the marketplace, and there's plenty of things I can do. There's plenty of things I can paint, and like I have a garage. I just have to be really careful not to destroy it.
Yeah, it can be a bit of a messy business that we're in, huh?
Yeah.
Hard to do with babies nearby.
What tip would you give someone that's trying to get back into the creative space after maybe like a creative burnout or just a break due to life events? How would you say that they could kind of change their mindset and get back in?
Honestly, like going through my work the past like several years from when I started, like just like looking at the progress I have made, being able to recognize the accomplishments you have made, and everything ebbs and flows, but like being able to see like where you started and where you're at now, I think that's a really helpful thing to just like okay, like I have been doing it, I do have this thing, I do have this creative drive and talent, and it's like it can continue,
Yes.
and whatever how that looks, I mean, that's up to you really, but I think having a time of reflection is a really good idea.
Yeah, that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree. I feel like I'm preaching that to myself often. It's like
Yeah.
instead of opening up and scrolling on someone else's work, like going back and celebrating what you've done,
Mm-hmm.
reminding yourself that like you can get back in. And I
Yeah.
think that's kind of one of the best things about creating your own business is like it really is all on your own terms. And
Yeah.
it sounds like you might also relate to like having high standards for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
but you can also be the one who's giving yourself grace.
Yeah.
But now that you're in this season of like maybe like having to fight with time, it
Mm-hmm.
makes me wonder what type of like tools or tricks or even advice you have for
Mm-hmm.
some time saving um measures that you take
Yeah.
either now or even in the past. Like
Mm-hmm.
what's like a trick that's been a game changer for you?
Whew. Long nap times. No, just kidding. If that's ever possible. No, honestly, I think starting out by doing like the hardest thing that day, whether it's with your project that you're working on or just like the daily to-do list. When you do the hardest thing first, it's like everything else during the day kind of goes smoother. I think another thing is using quality tools, paint, brushes. I love these, by the way. I'm like going to be using these.
Oh, yeah.
On this, I like don't want to use it because it's so nice, but it's gonna be destroyed in a week.
That one is the best.
I love it. But yeah, quality materials. In the beginning, I was just kind of using like whatever I could get my hands on, and like as I started building my business, like realizing like, oh, like actually getting better sandpaper or better brushes or better paint does like make a big difference in the long run.
I also like to do that in my day. Start with the hardest thing or the thing I don't want to do the most, because
Yeah.
then once
Mhm.
that's done, it's like, all right, I can move on.
They're always intertwined too. It's like I really don't want to do this, and it's the hardest thing. It's like
Yes.
one and the same.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so what do you do on days when you don't feel like painting or you're in just a creative slump, but you have to because it has to get done?
Honestly, like listening to music or podcasts, like, anytime I had just like, wow, I literally have to get this piece done. Someone's expecting it by the end of this week. And, but I can't really say there's too many times where I like really didn't want to paint, like
That's
honestly,
awesome.
I'm very, very fortunate, but I mean, the little times of doing annoying things of a project, just to, the finishing details or something, just podcasts have been my go-to. And true crime, I mean, it's concerning, I love true crime.
I remember my murals based off of, like, what I was listening to, and
Yeah.
a lot of times it's, like, podcasts or, like, the true crime, like you were saying.
Yeah.
So, do you is that how you think about projects ever? Like, do you look at something and you're like, "I know exactly what, like, podcast I was listening to," or, like, it reminds you of something like that, or no?
Um, I love that. I really listen to like one like I don't have like several different podcasts. Like I listen to this Australian guy. He's anonymous and it's like monotone talking, so it's like very soothing to me. I know that sounds so strange. So I think maybe I can think of like one piece that I can associate a crime that happened. But it's all fun. I mean, it's all really fun. Honestly, it's the most relaxing. Like that's when I'm in my zone is listening to this guy and like making a piece. But I can't say I have the same experience as you. I think that's really cool.
I'm
That
like,
is really cool.
Dallas Palace Murdoch murders,
That's
like
amazing. Yeah. That would be something. Oh my gosh.
What is your least favorite part about finishing a piece or painting a piece?
My least favorite part. Oh gosh, probably drawer tracks. Getting the piece functional is like obviously the most important thing before you start putting paint on and doing the project. So yeah, just like oh the leg is falling off. Like I had this like vision in my head for how I just wanted to dive in and paint and do the fun part, but there's a lot of, technical just getting it functional and ready to actually be a lasting piece that goes in before the
Yeah.
painting. Yeah.
I feel like that's where your patience really gets tested because
Mhm.
when you are really excited about finishing something and
Yeah.
like you're so into this vision and then
Mhm.
you're like, "Ugh, I gotta fix this leg and this chip,"
Yeah.
and it drains
And
you, but if you don't do it right, it's gonna mess it all up.
you think it's gonna take like a minute and it's really 10 minutes. Like
Yeah,
no, not 10 minutes, like 4 days, It's like, "Oh,
right.
I gotta wait for this piece," or, it's yeah, but that's like part of it, and you
Right.
learn so much. Like, I mean, I can literally probably fix a majority of broken furniture in the world, I'm pretty sure at this point.
That's a superpower.
What kind of costume do I get or outfit do I get with that?
I love
it's
it.
like a version of Bob the Builder. Can
Yeah,
she fix it? Yes,
yeah,
she can.
most likely with frustration, but it can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm super inspired by some of the pieces that I've seen in the past. Like, is there anything that you've ever remade and like wanted to like do the next version of it? Or do you try to make all of your pieces have new life and it is more like reflective of where you're at in your season of life?
Hmm. Okay, for example, I was using PVC pipes. Like I was seeing all these pieces that had like the rounded fluting. I know that working with wood dowels is a big thing because it's easier. I mean, it's wood. You have a lot more flexibility with attaching it to a piece. But I was just like, I was seeing these huge wooden, or I'm sorry, huge round textures on pieces, and I was like, I want to do that. And it was just like the most absurd thing. I mean, taking PVC and cutting it in half, finding a way to do that, and then the adhesives to make it attach to the piece. I mean, it was just like one of those things I was determined to do because I had done dowels so many times, and I was like, I'm just going to do this. And then also how to like cap them off, so it's not just like a hollow plastic tube. So that, I mean, yeah, that's just a vision I had of just kind of building on something I'd done before that I was just like, I'm going to do it. And I did. And I really do like the pieces that I did with PVC. I mean, I don't know if I'm like super excited to do a ton more of those, but I love the finished look.
So I guess this could be a question even for both you and Lauren, but how do you deal with it if a client comes to you and they want something that's just not in your wheelhouse or in your vision and it's something that you don't necessarily want your name on? How do you approach something like that?
Early in my business, I would definitely be like, I can do anything.
Yeah.
And then you kind of like say yes and figure it out
Mhm.
later. Is that an Ali K quote? Maybe. But I relate to that. Now, a little bit further in my business, I am more humble by being like, here's someone who can accomplish that for you.
Mhm.
Or
Mhm.
as I've grown my business, so with my murals, I often have other people on the job with me and I will like resource people for it, delegate or hire someone that I know can handle it.
Mhm.
Because I'm always like I know I can get this done. I just don't necessarily have to like have the pride of like doing it myself. How
Yeah.
about you?
Yeah, I think that's huge. Your time is so precious, and it's like you got to spend it doing what you're passionate about, what like
Mhm.
what's important. And yeah, in the beginning too, it was just like I don't know. I was taking commission pieces like the first week I was doing, furniture in general. And it's just like, I just didn't have any idea. And then as you grow, I think, and you learn, it's just like, wow, I really don't like doing that. Or it's not like it's not my style. And yeah, I think finding other artists that, are more tailored to like their needs. Like I don't do kitchen tables and chairs. That's just not something that's a huge project, but there are some people that do. And,
Yeah.
yeah, I like supporting other artists and businesses, and having those referrals I think has been huge. And also just like the confidence of like there's different kinds of doctors that treat different things, like
Right.
no, I'm not a doctor, but specializing in what you're good at, and having confidence in that I think is important.
One more question for both of you guys. Has your definition of success changed over the years, both as an artist and then I think also as a business owner? Especially you're both mothers and I'm also a mother. And so I think when you do have kids, a lot of that shifts and there is this like incredible struggle between momming and working and trying to find the balance and being okay with not being good at both at the same time. So
Mhm.
curious how you guys have both navigated that and how your definition of success has changed.
Being a mom and an artist, like, it's just, I mean, they are both the most important things, you know what I mean? And, but like being a mom and being present for my kids and running a business, I mean, it's just like, how do you juggle all of it? And what I'm just like really doing this time in my life is just like reeling back, living in the moment, appreciating where I'm at, even if it's not comfortable, and just kind of like, it used to be about the hustle and, go, go, go. And when I just had one kid, it was even like I was able to hustle and crank out pieces and work all the time. And now, honestly, I feel like life has just abruptly changed for me. And I think in a good way in the end, I needed to be kind of reeled back and take a break and kind of just get my priorities right. And,
Yeah.
I am the biggest project that I'll ever work on, and I think that that's important to just, well, it's everything, my mindset, my health. You know, I want to be able to go to sleep at night, and, I'll be able to create. I always will. But like who I am as a mom and as a person, I think is the most important thing.
I love that. That was really powerful. I feel like that is the biggest shift is having something that's more important than like your work, which is you and then also like the lives that you're taking care of.
Mhm.
It puts things into perspective and it's something that I kind of am realizing. So I built my business a little bit like behind the scenes. I built my business knowing that I wanted to be a mom. It is a little bit funny and like you were saying yourself, like this is a job that sometimes you really have to be in it. And so
Mhm.
it actually like contradicts like
Yeah.
being able to be like a working mom, like when you have like paint brushes in your hands.
Yeah.
Um, so that's been challenging, but all that to be said, like I built this as a career and that was really clear to me. But what I need to focus on now more is just like the vision of like the the passion behind the business and like having the success not necessarily be like all of the wins in career and business or even like monetary. It's just like what is my business's mission and like
Mhm.
having more of that heartfelt moment of
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
being what's more important in terms of success. And so like aligning with that has been kind of a little bit more healing for me. Again,
Yeah.
being someone who like puts a lot of pressure on myself for work
Mhm.
and success
Mhm.
and accomplishments.
Okay, well, now we are going to move on to two new segments that we have for the podcast. And the first
Ooh.
is going to be our Golden Moment segment,
Mm.
which is inspired by the Golden Brush Awards.
Yes, we want to ask each guest to share one creative moment from the past week that felt golden, not perfect, just like meaningful.
So maybe it was
Oh.
something that sparked joy, maybe it was a happy accident, or maybe it was something that reminded you that this is the reason why you do what you do. But
Mhm.
whatever it is, we want to hear it. What is your golden moment from the week?
Getting invited to be on here to talk about, the creative journey is just, it's just a reminder of like, oh yeah, this is real and it's not going away. And there's a huge community of artists. And I met this other artist. She's here in Greenville, and she does like beautiful abstract oil paintings, and she's very successful. And she like wants me to come over and commission a piece for her, and so that's huge, and I'm prepared to dive in, head first into the artistic community here. It's just been a little slow, but I know it's there, and that's really exciting to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sometimes it's like that's that first little step that you just need, and then you're gonna go like full speed ahead and probably be way busier than you want to be. But
yeah, you're right. Isn't that how it always is, though? It's like
it always
is.
Yeah, making those connections and kind of almost like a callback to what you were saying before, like getting inspired by your own self and your past work. You're living the life that you've created. You're living your dream job, and you've already done so much. And then from there, you can build upon that. And that's already kind of like the top of the mountain, and everything else is this like cherry on top mentality.
Just like, what do we have today? It's like we've accomplished this, and like we don't know where the future's going, but like we have today, and there's, like finding the beauty in that, and how all the things we've learned to get to this point. And I mean, I'm still going to learn something new tomorrow. So, it's a work in progress.
I can't wait to see what your first project is. That's for sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Me too.
Okay. So this is our next segment. It's called Don't Cry Over Spilled Paint. It is our favorite kind of laugh out loud moment.
Yeah, we have to kind of be real about this, because there's so many of those moments that are maybe a little bit cringeworthy or messy, or like, what was I thinking kind of moment.
Do you have a funny or that facepalm kind of moment where it was just a complete foul, or it kind of made you step back and think, oh?
There was this like it was a crappy piece of furniture. It was a 2-door cabinet that was like nothing. And I got it from the side of the road, and I don't know. I had this idea that I wanted to have like rusted metal on it, like on the doors. What is that called? The corrugated metal.
Oh, okay,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I was like, I bought metal from Lowe's, and I literally filled my bathtub with vinegar to rust the metal, and like did this whole project. I was like, I'm gonna get it like. And I mean, it sat there for like a week, right? And it was just like, my husband's like, what are you doing?
And you're like, what is that smell coming from the bathroom?
Yeah, I'm like, it's my vision, babe. I mean, it rusted, and I sealed it, and I put it on the front of the doors, and I was just like, done, like, I don't know. I was happy that it got done, and someone bought it and they liked it. But like, I look back and I'm like, that was insane. And like, why, but yeah. So, just moments like that where it's just like, I just had to do it,
Yeah. I like that your spilled paint moment though ends with like a victory on top. Cause I feel like some people's spilled paint moments are lessons they have to learn from, but then others, it is like, that was a little bit weird how we got there, but we got there. And so thanks so much for sharing with us. We are encouraging all of our listeners to share their spilled paint moments. So make sure to send us your funniest DIY or paint fails in the DMs. And then from there, we're probably going to be reading those online. So they will be really fun to read.
Well, you don't get to where you're at without making mistakes, or learning a lesson. So I think it's all, and it can be humorous, that maybe it doesn't feel that way at the time, but
it's important to laugh at yourself after the fact.
Oh yeah. I mean, you have to. So
Courtney, thank you so much for being here. Your journey and the way you share it is so encouraging to other creatives and everyone who is figuring out their own rhythm, whatever that may be. So listeners, don't forget to follow Courtney on Instagram at Steel Birch Studios and check out whatever she does for her first big new project.
And if you're in a season of rebuilding, rest, or ramping back up, we hope that this conversation reminded you that it's okay to take your time and it's always possible to come back.
Great, guys. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Courtney.
Thanks, Courtney.
Thank you for listening to the Brush and Banter podcast, brought to you by Zibra. We're so grateful you're a part of the creative community. Gearing up for your next project? head to enjoyzebra.com to grab your new favorite brushes, designed for comfort, precision, and serious creative flow. Be sure to follow Zebra Painting on Instagram for painting tips, artist features, and more. If you enjoyed our banter, subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to leave a 5-star rating and review. Now, go make something beautiful. We'll be here when you need a little banter.